Morning. Josh is okay. Everything checked out fine.
You said he'll be out a couple days.
Probably. Today's going to be a light day for these guys. I'm going to try to taper off some of the running. They have a day off tomorrow, and then we're going to get after it Saturday.
What kind of camp had he been having to this point?
Josh? Good. Very good. Very good. Done a lot of good things down the field, quick game, everything. He's been good.
We've asked you about some of the backup offensive linemen previously at the guard spot. What have you seen so far from guys like Catalina and Callis? And do you see any future starters from those reserves?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Catalina, Kalis, Rainey, obviously Bergstrom. We're moving those guys around quite a bit. So we're trying to find the right grouping, and it's a wide open battle. So time will tell on that. But they're all doing a pretty good job. We just got to get them in pads and more team run reps, more pass protection, more blitzes, all that stuff, and get our evaluations going.
Coach, when you've got 2 first-round draft picks on the interior of your defensive line, naturally they're going to garner a lot of the attention from the outside. But last year, Matt Ioannidis took a big leap forward in his development, and so far at camp, he's looked disruptive up the front. What are you seeing from him in terms of how his development has gotten him to where he is, and what excites him? What excites you about him going into 2018?
Well, Matt's a very hard-nosed player. He plays with great energy, passion, tenacious type guy. And he had a turf toe out here. He's been fighting through it, so it's kind of slowed him down a little bit. As that gets better, you'll see more of the true Matt Ioannidis. But he's a guy that just is one of the hardest working guys in the weight room. He's going to get stronger and stronger. I don't know how much more stronger he can get because he already is strong, but great guy to have. Rotational type defensive lineman, starter. Play 4 technique, 5, 3, nose, whatever you want him to play, he'll play it. Great guy, good player.
Jay, entering the second full week of camp, what's one thing you've seen that has you feeling optimistic about this bunch?
One thing?
I mean, you can list as many as you want.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reason to be optimistic. This is training camp. I think every NFL team should be optimistic right now. I mean, what the heck? But feel good about our quarterbacks. Our running back room has a lot of depth, a lot of talent. Our receivers, we got a lot of different type of guys there, quick, fast, big, physical. Tight end group is exciting. We got Vernon still. Sprinkle is emerging as a very good blocking tight end. Flanagan's doing a lot of good things. Obviously, Manessa's here. Jordan Reed when he gets back. Offensive line, once we get our guys back, it's a lot of good players there, a lot of good depth. Defensive line we're excited about, without a doubt. Outside backers, what can you say about Kerrigan, Preston, Petey, and Ryan Anderson and the rest of the group, and inside linebackers? So we have a good group of players here. Defensive backs, don't want to leave them out. Otherwise, Josh will tweet about me. He's doing good. But, yeah, there's a lot to be optimistic about. Now it's just a matter of getting everything put together. And every team in the NFL has a lot of talent, as we do. Now it's just a matter of getting it all together and protecting the football and doing what we have to do to win games.
Next time we see you after today will be Fan Day on Saturday. What's different about that day, having all the people here, and what kind of show you guys want to put on?
Not a lot different, really. We're just going to have a practice, and I might do some more live type things for 2s and 3s and all that stuff. But it just hopefully more people come out, be more energetic for the players. But it'll be a great day. I know that we're going to push them pretty hard on Saturday, and today's going to be kind of a lighter day. I tapered off a little bit, but Saturday will be a good day.
Jay, you talked about Pernell McPhee pretty in detail yesterday. When you guys were signing him, how much did his injuries, the physical stuff he's dealt with, come up as you debated if that was a good idea, and how has he been through camp so far? Any concerns there at all?
Well, he missed yesterday with an injury. Just kidding. He's done great. He's done great. I mentioned Purnell the other day, and I talked about. I think his ability to move around the defensive front is exciting. On third down, you know what I mean? First, second down, he's going to be an outside linebacker. He'll back up Kerrigan and Preston Smith. Gives much needed depth at that position. The 3-4 defense can't function without at least four, maybe 5 good outside linebackers. So he's one of them. And then on third down, that's where I think he's going to make us hay. He can play over the guard. He can play defensive end. A lot of good things. But he's a great player, and just got to keep him healthy.
Do Do you think that reserve role will help him stay healthy a little bit in terms of maybe in Chicago he was expected to do a little bit more than what you guys are going to do?
But we're going to expect a lot out of him. So we'll see how it goes. But I like everything about what he's brought to this football team so far, and we just got to make sure we have a good plan for him, especially on third down, and hopefully we can get a good year out of him.
Jay, before the draft, we heard a lot about Darius Geis playing video games and things of that nature. What, if any, impact did that have on the team's evaluation of him before the draft?
Video games?
Yeah.
If I graded somebody down because of video games, I probably wouldn't have a football team out here. I think everybody plays video games this day and age. This Fortnite thing is going crazy. Madden, they're playing soccer in there. They all play it. So Darius is probably most known for it for some reason, but that had no bearing whatsoever on us taking him or not taking him.
Do you play?
I do not. I used to play all the time, but not anymore.
Hey, Jay, keeping on the running back theme, with the backs that you have and the depth that you mentioned, what do you need to see or what do you want to see to determine who's going to get the workload?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel good about all of them at this point right now, but eventually we're going to have to settle in on one and a half guys or two guys. Somebody's going to get the bulk of the carries, and I think the preseason games will tell a lot of that. Just consistent approach to the game, but Samaje, Rob, obviously Darius, they've all proven they're worthy of getting the ball. Now it's just a matter of trying to find the one that is most certain. That could change week to week. Who knows? It's not a bad thing to have multiple guys get the ball. You keep these guys fresh and healthy. You pound Geis up there a few times and you give Rob the ball, and here comes Chris Thompson or Byron Marshall. Obviously you can only address three probably on game day, but to get all these guys a lot of work is not a bad thing.
Jay, some players have mentioned the conditions of the field and just a lot of mud around. How do you combat that with practice, moving guys around or different position groups, or do you worry about when guys are making cuts, when it's slippery out there?
I don't know. I just try to move the ball around, try to stay out of the muddy spots. Hopefully the sun will dry it up. But the field has been pretty good, except for a couple areas. The sidelines aren't very good. Obviously, back in the end zones aren't very good, so we stay away from theirs. But nothing I can do. We got to practice, so got to practice in the mud.
Hey, Coach, what have you seen from Paul Richardson in these last couple of weeks? Seemed to get banged up a little bit, but bounce back and make big plays even in practice.
Yeah, Paul's a guy that you have to just continue to watch on tape. The quarterbacks, when they see him, even when he doesn't get the ball, there's a lot of things that he does. When he doesn't get the ball, you say, dang, I could have thrown it to Paul here too. He does a great job of getting open, and he's getting a better feel for what we're trying to do and the angles and the routes. I've been very impressed with Paul, coming in here, learning an entirely new system, playing in a position that, is new to him with the terminology, different route cuts, lining them up a lot of different spots. I think he's done a great job, and he's going to continue to get better. But he's the type of guy, like I said, that Alex, Colt, they're going to have to just continue to watch him because he really can run.
Coach Gruden, how do you feel about your backup middle linebackers, Josh Harvey-Clemens? I saw him working with the ones a little bit, and Zach Vigil. How do you feel about them behind Brown and Foster?
Yeah, they're doing good. And obviously Sean Dion's doing a lot of good things. So I've been impressed with him also. So that's another position that's going to be fun to watch. I think a lot of it will have to do with, could have to do with special teams. The backup, the third and fourth and fifth inside linebacker, they have to be very good on special teams. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think Coach Kotwick will have a lot to say in that. But Vigil came in last year at the end of the year and had a great game against Denver. Did some good things against the Giants. Josh Harvey is more of a dime-type player, but he's getting more work in base, so he's doing good. And then Sean Dion, at Alabama, before he got his injury, him and Reuben Foster were probably the best linebacker tandem in college football. So a lot to like about these guys, but now it's just a matter of getting them in there and see who the best ones are.
Jay, you mentioned yesterday the idea of possibly keeping a fullback. You do have one on the roster in Wellman. What have you seen from him? And are Perine and Kelly, if you actually went that way with them, do they need to change anything with their body, or do you think like they could do it if you had to now?
Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Wellman's done a good job. I'd like to run some fullback runs for our defense so they get used to seeing some of that stuff so they can get themselves ready, because we do play a lot of teams that have a fullback. And then we have a lot of those regular runs that we call regular with the fullback that are very good, and the play actions off of them are very good. So, like I said before, it's just going to be a matter of how good he does on special teams and whether or not we want to carry that package on game day. Sturgeon yesterday and shows great strength and power in the hole, which is important, and he can catch. As far as Rob and Samaje, that's just kind of a maybe thing. If we'll have to wait and see on that. I haven't even told them yet, so don't tell them yet.
Jay, you got obviously a two-time Pro Bowler at right guard, and Brandon, we know what he brings on the field. He doesn't necessarily enjoy the media game and chatting and all that, but I seem to think he's got a little bit of personality to him and engagement. What do you see from him off the field, just as a teammate, just as someone who?
Brandon is he's great. There's nothing bad to say about the guy. He's a fun guy to be around. He's a very focused guy on his craft. You know what I mean? He worked extremely hard. When he's here, he's all in on football. Every drill, every period, it's all about football. Every meeting, there's no nonsense about him. Off the field, after that, he'll have his fun. He likes to hunt and all that stuff. But as far as being a football player, the term football player, Brandon Sheriff is definitely a football player.
Coach Tony tells me I get the last question here. Quentin Dunbar, when you first moved him from wide receiver over to this position on the DBs, did you imagine the progression to where he'd now be fighting for that spot opposite of Norman?
Yeah, it's a great tribute to him and his work, but, when you have that type of speed and that type of length, you try to find a spot for a guy with that type of athletic ability, and Quentin's done a good job of buying in and making the adjustment. Now, with the opportunity he has in front of him, it's going to be up to him whether he, takes the next step or whatever. But I have total faith that Quentin can do a lot of great things. You see him out here running and covered and getting more comfortable with the position. But when I made the change with him, did I ever think? I had hopes he was very good on special teams. That's why I thought we had to keep him some way, some shape or form, but I didn't know if I'd be a starter this quick, compete for a starting job. So that's a great tribute to him and his work.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.